Long time no see, everyone. It's us, the Range Dudes.
Hello,
I'm
guys,
Vidad.
and I'm Hokey, and we're here to just talk about our one of our favorite franchises that we've been playing for quite a while now. It's been
Yeah,
like
years.
since 2018 since Wish Legend 1 came out,
Yeah, it's been a very long time that we've been playing this franchise.
and it's been a really fun one. We're just here to talk about what we really like about this new game that we've been playing, that we've been really excited to see. Made by Dead Mage Studios. I really want to out first and foremost is thank Dead Mage Studios for really taking their time and taking their swing at this franchise that we both hold near and dear. Honestly, it's
Yeah, they've been doing very hard work.
after such a big hiatus from Wiz Legend 1, I know that game's pretty much done. Cause
Yeah, that's not getting any more updates. I think the last time they got updates was like
2022?
2, 3 years ago. Yeah, so it's pretty much. I don't see them ever doing any kind of update for that game. Obviously, because now, especially with Wizard Legend 2, that would make even less sense to, you know.
As much as I really like how Dead Mage is tackling on this, I feel like they deserve to be to hear what exactly we love about this game and what doesn't work about this game.
Yeah. And there's of both sides of that with the what we love and what we don't love and the things that we kind of just are annoyed by. There's plenty. Granted, there's definitely a lot of stuff we love. Hoagie and I have talked for a while about just how much we love the remix system for the Arcana. Whenever you defeat one of the golems and you get the remix to your Arcana, it's just so cool.
I do love how you go up to the spire, you get a pretty good selection of randomized moves. Uh, I think it does a really good job at telling you what you are going to get, and also does a pretty good job with bringing more randomness to places that doesn't actually ruin your run, more say. That's one thing that I love about original Wizard Legend was it really wasn't too leaning on a luck factor, which most a bunch of different roguelikes seem to rely on is the randomness factor.
Yeah, like games like Enter the Gungeon and Binding of Isaac, where they're great games, very fun to play, but there are some times where the run is just so bad because you just didn't get anything good, or just like feels like you wasted your time playing. Which luckily in both Wizard of Legend 1 and 2, that's not really too much of an issue, I've noticed. So I would say with that, with a lot of the like our main like nitpicks, like the things that don't really get under like our skin, but are definitely like it. Granted, it can be just because the game's still in early access. Things were going to definitely change, and we were talking about it earlier. Was that a lot of the relics aren't available yet in Mimi, like in the Mimic at the very beginning. And now,
Yeah,
granted, that could just be because early access.
I know this might be a bit of a pretty stingy argument from us, because especially as the time of us recording this, as the time of the development of this game is definitely under development. It is very early, especially this game came out like in October, and they've done
Yeah, it's
honestly
not been very long.
huge amount of work to it. I think that's like insane amount of work where it's just like they added a whole biome update with a whole new boss in a couple
Mhm.
like 2 months. That's pretty insane.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, they've been working hard.
big compliments to Dead Mage for that. But I also had to complain that it really feels very limited. Like Arcana, that's a huge thing. That's the biggest thing about like was Legend 1 was the how you can have different moves that
Mhm.
differentiate from other roguelikes. I think that's the biggest thing that differentiates from other roguelikes is how you attack and how you can customize your attacks. But
Mhm.
with relics especially, I feel like is very lacking right now. You can go to
Yeah,
like Mimi and unlock all the relics, which is pretty easy to do, and you only get like honestly, this is off the top of my head. It just only goes
like
like
20.
halfway through
Like,
your screen. So yeah, I was about to say just like about 20, and
it's not very much.
you don't really even have like organization like in Wizard Legend 1 where you have like the different tabs where it organizes based on like, oh, this relic does damage increase, or this relic does armor increase, or this one's more like a specialty utility item.
Hmm. I do think with that too, with the mention of, I do think this is a very big nitpick for me that I really want to see them fix. Please give us proper understanding of what our items do when we pick them up.
Oh,
Let us see
absolutely.
the percentages.
Wizard Legend 1 has this blue percentage markers right next to each other where it will immediately tell you what an item gives you. If it's like a,
Mhm.
for example, you have like the quill that gives you like +0, but it immediately tells you like the more you explore each map in a dungeon, the increase of damage it does. And obviously, you come back to the menu and check, and you see like, oh, you have now +5 damage after completing a few maps, which is extremely helpful. But I feel like in Wizard Legend 2, there's a bunch of items that just literally tell you, oh, this item increases like your fire damage, and then it gives you no percentage bonus whatsoever. There's also a couple of percentage stuff that like not percentage, but like damage boosting stuff that would tell you what it is, which really
Mhm.
confuses me because there's a lot of items that does tell you how much percentage damage
It
it
feels very
gives you.
inconsistent.
Very inconsistent, and another love that I love in Wizard Legend 2 that Wizard Legend 1 doesn't quite have is I really like how they organize the ability modifiers on your character when you select
Mhm.
your inventory, because it has like you have like your crit damage or your crit chance percentage or your movement speed percentage all in this like nice
Yeah.
organized list. It is very buggy.
But it
I've
doesn't feel
seen at
like,
times.
yeah, I was about to say it doesn't feel very accurate a lot of the time.
I feel
So
like
maybe that's one of the things that they could fix when they patch in where proper data values are shown with the items, because it does feel like it's not very accurate sometimes.
I do definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I do think that, if they do add in proper, like, modifier values to where you can actually see exactly what attributes are, hopefully that will also fix that kind of, like, little custom character screen, that pulls up when you open your inventory. 'Cause I really like that. I just would like it to, actually work. But this is one of those things where very much, like, it's just because like, they're still working on bug fixes, so
Game is
that's one of the things.
super early, and
Yeah, so that one I'm not too pressed about.
it looks like they're doing a whole bunch all at once. I think I want to get back to that little talking point, but right now I also really love about the game. Customization is cool.
Yeah, there is the customization is
Being able to
it's
customize your
even
little
better.
wizard is so cool. It's so well done. I love this. Love to see like your little wizard get new cloak colors. The
Mhm.
medallion system is actually really cool. I think it's actually better than the cloak system in Wizard Legend 1. But like, I love seeing selecting your own custom colors for your own custom wizard, because it reminds me of how all the dudes that modified the game from Discord
Mhm.
bringing in their own actual customized wizard is so cool.
It was like, I remember a lot of people, especially when we were doing, well, I was in the PvP scene for a tiny little bit, and yeah, people would actually bring in their own little custom stuff for that, and I thought that was just so cool. Um, and that's why I would love to see, like, the only thing I would love to see more of is maybe even more customization. So,
I think what's really cool is like they gave you like a cloak color and a robe color. I love to even
mhm.
see like them drive that even further where it's like, oh, you get like pants color, gloves color, boots colors will be fantastic, but obviously this is like extra on top of the game. I feel like as another talking point that we should definitely focus on is I'd like to see a lot more as like a nitpick or even a hate. I would like to see Dead Mage do more focusing on one aspect of the game rather than trying to
Yes.
tackle everything all at once.
Yes. This is definitely one of the things that both Hokey and I, oh my god, we got pretty frustrated with in the sense of like I think that I want to stress that both Hokey and I, not game devs. I understand game dev is very hard work. I'm not going to ever say it's not
Mm-hmm.
or make it feel like that I don't appreciate the work that Dead Mage is putting in. I think that they're doing amazing work and I'm really happy with a lot of the stuff they're doing. But I really want to stress this but I think they should hold off on a lot of their balance patching stuff until they get a lot of the bug fixes done. Because there's some really bad game breaking bugs, like Hokey can tell you. Like, what, like just to the top of your head, what is one that's just like just floored you?
Like the game breaking bugs, definitely there's a lot of like especially like crit chance right now. I'm trying to do a bunch of crit chance builds in Whistle Legend 2 and it seems like after a certain point or after like a certain combo of relics, it kind of just seems to completely negate your crit chance modifier
Yeah.
and kind of like completely breaks your build.
Yeah, it does
And
feel like,
there's
it just will you even notice it? And we might have the footage of it. If not, that's okay. But in one of our recent playthroughs where we saw a bunch of glitches and stuff like that, I was doing like a super crit damage build, um, and immediately while that was happening, there was the issue of I pick up one item that looks like it's gonna increase my damage even more, and it just resets my crit chance completely. Just
I
completely resets it
I think it
and
was
crit damage.
the triple hook,
Yes,
or I
it
don't think that
was.
was the name of it, but it was like the icon was a triple hook. And I tried to do a little crit heal run as well. And after I just picked it up, I was like, okay, I did all this math in my head, and with all my regular relics plus that, I should have 400% of crit chance. That should be like 4 times likely. I should literally all my hits should be a crit. And then when I actually try to fight people in practice, it seems like I'm actually doing normalized, like negated start of the run crit chance, where I only get like one crit in a while. And then obviously I can't take it off because it's a curse relic. But definitely before I picked it up, I was literally nearly all but like one or two hits are crit uh crit chanced.
So how it was I'm pretty sure it was a legend. It was anytime something said it added or multiplied something, unless it said it like doubles your crit chance or something like that, it would just add on like a percentage to what the base is. So for example, if you had 100 HP base and it says it increases your HP by 10%, even if you had like multiple items that did that, it would only add 10% on. So, for example, like if I
Yeah.
had like 100 HP starting out and it said it added 10%, it would just give me an extra 10 HP. And then if I picked up another item that said that, it would add another 10 HP because it's doing 10% of what the base modifier is. Which depending on how you view that, I kind of indifferent to which one, but a lot of the time in especially because of the problem where you can't tell what does what because they don't have the actual percentages labeled out in Wizard of Legend 2. You have no idea what it's going off of. Is it going off of like what your base is before any modifiers? Is it going off of what it is now? You have no idea. And I would love a really cool thing they could do is if you've already picked up an item and so it's no longer a mystery to you or whatever. It'd be really cool if they did show you the percentages, but they could show you like a before and after or something like that. So like it could show you what it would be if you picked up the item or what it would be if you didn't pick up the item.
Absolutely, like little quality of life changes like that. Because I've you and I remember how was Legend 1, they didn't even let you read like descriptions of relics before you picked them up. You actually had to
Oh,
literally memorize every item in the game in order to do that. I
that was
think that
not
was
fun.
like the Sky Palace update, was it?
Yeah, where they finally let you actually see what the heck you were picking up.
That was awful.
But they changed it because they realized, and that's why I think that Wall 2 should focus on those kind of things and the game breaking glitches. Like the one that we have like been talking about, both of us that have just been like made both of us so frustrated was the where one of us while we're playing multiplayer co-op, one of us dies and it ends the run for both of us, even with the other person having full HP.
Full
That
HP running
is
around.
a horrible feeling when you're playing like a game. When you're like, even though like, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was Hokey, you went down and it was during like the Atlas fight.
Yep, that was
And
exactly it.
the he had died and I had noticed he had died. I'm like, oh, okay. But the moment like the game registered his death, all of a sudden it was like,
It
actually
just
you
popped up
died
the
too.
menu.
It was so fast, and we have footage here. We'll pop it up here. Oh god, I forgot about this.
I forgot he had two of those again.
Here, back up, back up, back up, back up. Let me aggro, let me aggro.
Oh, my evade saved me. This attack.
Uh-oh. Yeah, they made this a lot. Oh! It's so silent. Why is it so silent?
Ouch.
Oh, wow.
Okay, when they stack. Oh,
Wait, what? What?
what happened? You're not dead.
What?
You're not dead, are you?
No! We had full HP!
Okay, that's a
What?
good clip. That's a really good clip to show in the podcast. We just lost for no reason. Speaking
I
of
think
game
you might
breaking,
have died. I think.
I did
But
die. But
why would that
why we
make me
lose?
lose? But it was just like, what the hell? Like, what happened? And both of us just kind of paused, and we were just like stunned because it's like what the hell just happened? Like, why the heck did that just happen in our like this run? Like this run was doing decent. Well, we were doing pretty well. It was just I think with like lag on like Hoki's side, that was like the only real problem. And so like when kind of stuff like that happens, it's just like cool. I it frustrates you so much that you don't even want to play the game. And I feel like they really, really, really need to just focus on the game breaking glitches right now and stop with the balancing with some of the items. Like, I'll let Hoki talk about this one, but about the exploit that well, it's not an exploit to us, but to Dead Mage, it's considered an exploit. So I'll let Hoki talk about that one.
With like one of the most recent updates to the game, they did like a little hot fix. One thing that really irked me was the probably one of the biggest reasons why we're bringing this up as a talking point in the first place is talking about that they should focus more on game feel rather than game balance right now. I think it's a bit too early for them to focus on that, especially when they're gonna add in more features in the future. One thing that really irked me was the wording into the patch notes was what we love to do was the fall cloak and Mordion's gem little trick where you can
Mhm.
when you take damage with your fall cloak with the Mordion's gem in your inventory, you heal. I mean, you gain money as you heal. However, they do see this as like a little exploit, and I feel like a combo like that is very, I don't want to be rude, but I feel like it's very obvious to do. It's not quite like a
Feels intentional.
pure exploit. I think it's pretty intentional to use the healing cloak with the money gem. I feel
And
like if they actually really wanted to do balance with that, they could also add like your healing is now like slower on top of that, rather than, oh, if you have a fall cloak and you have Morgan's Gen, it just does nothing.
yeah, it just feels like what? Well, why did you put this in? Like what?
It
It's just agitating.
definitely feels like it, because now if you use Morgan's Gem and you have fall cloak, you actually cannot gain money whatsoever, even if you buy healing from the shop, if you can get to a shop that fast. But you can't, all healing you get is you can't gain money from it, even if you get hit by a monster or a trap. In Wizard Legend 1, there's a bunch of money relics that allow you to do just that. You gain money as you get hurt or as you heal.
Or
But
you can use
they,
your HP as health or coins too.
yeah, exactly. However, if you try to use all those relics, like the money gaining from getting hurt, and you try to like, oh, here's a pit, let me just bash my head against the wall to get some money, it obviously you don't gain money as that way. You had to at least like run into like a trap or like keep an enemy alive and use that to farm money.
Yeah, it feels like with what they this balance specifically, this specific one, it feels very like not Wizard of Legend at all. Like I know it's a very vague
It's a
statement.
very it's a very, if you know you know kind of statement, but also just how the way they presented this issue kind of gives me a bad irk with how they want to focus on game balance. I think that pairing of mechanics is very intentional. Obviously, there was also this one time we were able to like buy items in multiplayer by just changing how like taking turns menuing, and that's like that right there is
That is an
obviously
exploit.
an exploit. There is
Yeah.
no way that a regular player can like know that beforehand. You kind of have to like either do it accidentally or like follow a guide. But I think the wording of this is an exploit and we don't want it in the game is a very slippery slope of a how they want to tackle it this early on in the game, especially with
Yeah, I
like
feel like
specific things. Cuz like with like even with Legend 1, money doesn't necessarily make you overpowered. I
no.
don't think
Granted,
it
it does let you get to that point if you get lucky with certain because like there's only one combo that I would argue in Wizard of Legend like one that's busted. And it
definitely
is
busted.
if you play with fall, you play with the robe that only maximum damage only does 10% of your HP, the wallet that lets you pay with your HP, and then the crate. If you have all of those items, that is the only time I would consider it to be an absolute insane exploit. Like that is the only time. But even then, it was intentional. They knew about all these items. They left these items in because they recognize, players aren't gonna always want like, if was playing with Fall, you only have a certain amount of HP, and if you get comboed when you're playing Fall, you're dead. That's Fall's drawback. It's a really, like being able to regenerate's great, but if you get comboed, you're done. Like, there's no saving you. So that
With
was kind of the nerf to it.
extra context of that, you in Wizard Legend 1, you don't have any iframes whatsoever, so getting hit 10 times in a row is very easy to do.
Yeah, which I can understand, like, why they would change that, especially now, because it is a little bit easier with fall to kind of sustain yourself. unless you
Hmm.
just get unlucky and just miss like your timings and all that. But there, fall definitely doesn't make you immortal. Like there, if you can regenerate, because a lot of the time in Wizard Legend, uh, there's just enemies that just cover the entire screen with their attacks. So if you can't get away to get to that regeneration, it doesn't really matter. But it does feel like I don't like the idea that if you find a really cool combo and then Dead Mage thinks it's too OP that they're gonna remove it. I think that puts me on edge with and it just makes me not look forward to updates because then I'm afraid that like, oh, what if I found this really cool combo, but then the next update it gets deleted because it's considered too strong. Like that's not a like
Especially as the game right now, we don't have PvP as a thing. Obviously, that's a wish list for me.
yes,
PvP
definitely.
with online multiplayer is definitely what I'm looking forward to most.
Mhm.
But as like a little split screen online multiplayer cooperative game, exploits really doesn't matter too much.
It's not a competitive game. Like, even if they do add in PvP, a lot of that stuff won't be affected by having, like, powerful relic combos.
Change the unless there's anything else you really want to talk about with the what we really don't like about the balance changes. Uh
Um, no, I'd say that's the one that just
that
when I
really
was
irked us.
happened. Yeah, that was the one that, like, I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "This is." I just think, once again, not a game dev, I don't understand the complexities of it. I'm going to be 100% honest with that because I feel like I have to state my biases because, but I really think that that should be lower on the totem pole for their focus right now. Like, I really do think that it should be lower.
Hmm.
It should be one of those things that just is on the table for them because I do think balancing is an important part of like game development. But I really think right now they just need to focus on fixing the bugs.
Change the topic for me. I think as like little things that I do want to see. Obviously this like little bug I'm pretty sure they know right now is they changed the UI a little bit and with like shops right now when you try to buy like a new Arcana or relic with Surgic and I forgot her name, which I'm very sorry to say. Uh I'll probably say it again in post, but the relic lady that you buy relics from, their little shop menus have changed and I kind of wish to see a little extra because it has that little slot machine effect where you kind of can keep scrolling forever and ever. For someone like me who's not really as attentive with it, I feel it's very easy for me to keep scrolling the relics forever and ever and pass by the same like items again and again before I realize, oh, these are the same like 4 or 5 items. Especially this be a lot easier for like new players.
Mhm.
It is a very nice menu because I can see why they do it for like a 4 player local co-op, especially
Yeah.
with people playing controllers. I think they should at least add like borders to know like, oh, you reached the end of like your selection. And they also changed where the gold is on your uh gold counter is right next to your health and when you're supposed to be at a shop, it's supposed to display it in a giant blue font right next to your character when you go to a shop. However, you cannot see it when you're trying to select your trying to buy a modifier from the spires. So you have to like literally go to the spire, look at what you can buy, then you have to exit the spire, look at your gold, and then go back to the spire and buy your thing, which is a
Yeah.
very pretty clunky. I'm pretty sure they did not intend that way to go. That might be a little bug. So I'd like that see that change for the shop UI because I think a lot of also another couple of changes of UI like with like when you're playing multiplayer the teleport still can bug out for extra players I think it's a lot better now, but I still feel like the last teleport before the portal can break, causing the other players having to haul ass, go back into the portal. Little selection issues with the menuing that I'm pretty sure they know about right now. I'd like to
Yeah,
see
hopefully.
fixed, and I feel like that should be their priority is game feel, and menu should work when they work.
Yeah, I think that really they should not be focusing on balance patching, but it is their game. I'm going
Absolutely.
to respect whatever decision they do, but as a player, it's very discouraging when there's clearly these big issues that are like, I would rather see these. And now, granted, like the dev team might be divided up into certain groups of like these certain people tackle this because that's a common thing in all kind of things. But it does feel like I feel like more focus should be put on the fixing of major issues like that.
Change things up. A little funny thing that I'd like to see actually addressed is when you have to talk with the little merchants in your little runs and you are done talking or you're done shopping with them and they have their little quip. And as we want to do is we want to buy our items and get back into the action. So we're running back into the fray of things. And while we're all doing that, we still hear the quip from the shop merchant
About
going
his
off
divorce
like
watch.
4 or 5 different rooms across the way. And
Yeah,
as
it
funny as it
should be
is,
proximity
I
based.
would love to see some proximity voice chat with that, which would probably be a lot funnier too. The guy's like talking about how much he hates his wife, and he just gets quieter and quieter.
Yeah, because it is definitely one of those things when you're like, okay, we're getting out of here, and you warp, and you're basically you're already like in the next, like you're about like this has happened to us before,
Yeah.
where we've had the him start doing that, and we leave the level, and we can still hear him. It's like it's like I get it, it's kind of jarring, but I do think a proximal like would be a lot better, like where it cuts him off, like or at least like as you go away from him, you hear him less.
That
It
being
is very
said,
jarring.
it is very jarring and also does throw you off a bit when you're trying to focus into the game. I know it's definitely a lot better than how it used to be. And
Oh, dear
honestly,
lord.
something I like to praise the game for right now is there's a lot of stuff writing wise I do like about this game. And especially the voice actors of this game do a fantastic job. They do a fantastic job delivering their characters. Honestly, there's no character in this game that I think can do better in terms of like how they deliver the characters voice acting wise. I just love
Yeah,
the
they all
voices.
sound really good.
They're funny, they're really well delivered. And to change from that, I kind of have some irks with the writing. Not really that big. Not I wouldn't say this is a hate. This is more like a nitpick. But like the little Marvel esque quippy sassiness of characters are a bit jarring from what I think from a Wizard Legend, because obviously what is a feeling of Wizard Legend, that's just a opinion.
Yeah.
But my opinion for Wizard Legend feels best is when it's very generic. I feel like I'm drawn more into the world of Wizard Legend of Lenova when characters are very boring. Actually, because having a character talking about like how they fixed themselves a bowl of oatmeal the morning of kind of makes more sense to me rather than like the character going onto a spiel of like, oh, you broke 50 pots. How could you? Are you just a demon?
Yeah, there's just I will say this, the divorced wife gag is kind of funny. It has grown on me at first when I first heard it. I'm like, can this guy shut up about his
It's
ex-wife?
actually really kind of funny. I do like that little dynamic between the two
Yeah.
shopkeepers.
It's very funny, but it like
It kind of does throw me off a bit because that guy's just like, haha, capitalism is stinky, right, guys? That guy only cares about money in his life and his ex-wife.
That's why.
But like every other like merchant, like the frogs and the modifier lady and the arcana lady, I feel like their writing is pretty much, I don't really have anything to note about.
Yeah, they're all perfectly fine.
There's a lot of writing that I do like about it, and there's a lot of writing that I feel like they could tone down on. Personally, it's just really
It's
the
less quippiness.
whole Marvel quippy sassiness of the characters kind of
Let the
throw me off.
characters feel like they live in their world and aren't just making jokes about their world.
It's okay
That's
to make generic quips, make generic statements, in my opinion. I
I
feel
just
like
want
Whistle Legend
the
excels being very generic.
I feel like and by generic, what do you mean? Because to me that
By
sounds like
generic, I would say is very I don't have a direct word for it, but it's like very milk toast.
we'll give an example of what you would say is generic.
Like when I was playing a Whistle Legend 1, the old merchant, when I was in the Earth dungeon, you go up and talk to him. I was like, "Oh yeah, you can talk to him." He says like, "Oh, I really like this area. The air is very clean. It's very it gives me extra life." And that's just like not really telling about that character specifically, but it's just like a very general statement. I don't know if
Okay.
that really
Yeah,
helped, but
yeah, I can understand. I
having
like the mix of I want the characters to like feel like they are individuals, but I also do want them to stop being like very like hyper specific about things. Like for example, going back to
really
the
hyper
horse.
flanderized characters.
Yeah, where they're very much like they don't feel like real people. They feel like caricatures of
Character
themselves. Like
exactly. Thank you. Uh especially with like the
Nox doesn't have this problem. I'll say this from
Nox
everything
is
I've interacted with
very
Nox, he's
good.
perfect. If all
I
the writing
love
was
his
like
quips.
Nox, yeah, if everything was like Nox, it would be perfect. Not in the sense of like they need to have the exact same personality, because obviously that's not what we're saying.
Hmm.
But I do think that if everyone had kind of similar level of these feel like Nox feels like how I imagine Nox is,
I
if that
think
makes any
Whistle
kind of
Legend
sense.
2 character that I really love dialogue wise is the leaderboard, not the leaderboard, but like the quest giver. A really good job delivering as a straight man.
Yeah,
And I think that's what I really want to see is just more sincere and straight men like caricatures.
make them feel like real characters. That's pretty much how I feel too. Like
I
just make them
think
feel like they're
also
real characters.
Sergic's really good, and he's a
Yeah,
good
Surge's good.
idea of like a really exaggerated character, but
Yeah,
also being
he
very
is
sincere.
100% him. Like
I think
I could go to the gym and probably meet a Surgic. There's definitely some guys that act like that in real life.
he definitely has like in real life gym bro energy that's like the positive kind.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like he feels very much like I if I like I would hang out with Surgic in real life. And I'm not saying that all the characters have to be people you would chill with, but it feels like there is a person I could meet in real life that would act like Surgic. That is what I feel when I interact with Surgic as a character.
as like a
More of
little
that,
love
please.
hate character, the main guy, Hieronymus. I don't know. I kind of think he grew on to me with like how he delivered
Fucking
his stuff.
bastard.
He does act like a bastard, but I also kind of love him for it as
Yeah, no, I
well.
definitely love
He could
Hieronymus.
also like
Such a
tone
dick.
down a bit, like be like, I hate other people, but my crow, I love and die for him. Like I feel like he can be toned down like a notch or two. And still
There are
keep
definitely
like
some
his
things that he
like,
just
oh, you want to take
pisses
my
me off.
spot? That's bold.
I this is the one I'll kind of slightly disagree. I kind of like him being an asshole because it encourages you to like it hypes you up for the day that you get to beat the shit out of him.
He does have like that handsome Jack, I can't wait to beat you energy, which I love about him. I do like I don't know if you can still get that cutscene from this new update, but like when you beat Jabara, he's just like, "Oh, you want to be the Wizard Legend, Bode." I love that.
But, but
I love how he
yeah,
delivered it. I love how he's just like, it especially makes sense. Like that's the first like major boss that you beat. So
Mhm.
obviously he's going to be a lot more
Yeah, he's not gonna like you. He's gonna be with some disdain.
and obviously I feel like we might be drawing into conclusions a bit early because obviously we have not beaten the game. It's impossible right now.
Yeah, the game's not
The
finished. Yet.
entire story.
So I guess like kind of just wrapping this all up, I would say Dead Mage, I really appreciate what you're doing with the franchise. I think there's a lot of growth that's possible as well. I really, really, and I know your team might be divided in a way where there is someone who just focuses on stuff like specifically balancing, but I really think that those efforts should be put somewhere else for right now. Like I really think just getting out general content would probably be your guys' best bet. Especially, I'm really excited for the four-player stuff. You can ask Hokey. We have plenty of friends that we love to play this with.
Absolutely. Reason why we are here talking about this game that we are extremely excited for and excited to see turn into something great because we both believe this game can be something fantastic. But like
I would say we're passionate
we are
about this game.
absolutely passionate about this franchise and we definitely say thank you for Dead Mage for even tackling this in the first place. And we
It's
do
exciting
believe
to
that this can
know.
be something great.
Yeah, it's exciting to know that there is a Wizard Legend 2. Like, if you would have told me like 6 years ago when Wizard Legend 1 first like really came out, or at least when I first started playing it, kind of 2018, 2019, that there was going to be a Wizard Legend 2, I'd be so hyped. Because it's exciting because I love the franchise and I really want to see it. And that's where that kind of like that also kind of plays into that we do have these concerns because this game is important to us. It's a I it's I couldn't even tell you how many times, Hokie and I played it together. Like, just he would come over and we would, like, couch co-op play this game just for hours and hours. Or we'd even use stuff
Absolutely.
like Parsec or the Steam streaming to just play with each other because we just loved this game so much. So we really wanna see Wizard Legend 2, do very well. It's just, there's just some concerns that we have, and we really hope Dead Mage works on those. Do you have any other kind of commentary? Like once again, we're not like going to be. We understand that we're small, like creators. Like we are not any kind of voice of authority. We kind of just wanted to see how other people felt about Wizard Legend 2, what their kind of nitpicks and gripes, and what things they like, what things they love. Because we're a community, and I want to see the community continue to be around for many years.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure I had said everything, all my remarks that I want to say. Again, thank you to Humble Bundle and Dead Mage Studios for tackling this project in the first place. And I wish nothing but success for them. Whatever is it that they plan to do to make this game truly great. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this game if you have. If have you played Wizard Legend 1? Have you played Wizard Legend 2? What do you have any concerns? Do you also have any loves that like anything you love about the game that we haven't bring that much focus into? And what do you want to see in the game? Because I feel like Dead Mage, if they ever lay eyes to this video, obviously like we don't expect any entitlement from this video. We are just
No, we're
here based on
two
passion
dudes.
alone.
We're deranged dudes. We're not. Yeah, we're
The
just
rich dudes.
stating our how we feel about the game.
Just a little video stating our opinion about a game franchise and a game that we love. So anything you anything you as a viewer want to discuss about this game, feel free into this video or just simply spread love to Dead Mage Studios.
So, but um, with that, I hope everyone who tuned into this. I hope you all have a good one. Uh, it's Vidad, and you could say your name.
Okay. And it's
I,
also Hokey. I thought you were going to say something else.
no, no,
But
no. I was gonna say it's Vidad Hokey. We're signing out.